Yeah, hi, Joseph.
Hello, hi, everyone.
Hi,
Good morning.
hi.
Happy holiday. Yeah?
Thank you.
Yeah. So the reason we joined this today is we want to know more about how Seneca can cope with the COVID-19 pandemic. So, of course, government funding is good for, education sector. Yeah. All right.
Government funding is always good.
Yeah. money, right? Money talks. So.
Yeah.
But it's never been enough, right? So.
Oh no! It's a bottomless pit.
Yeah. So.
In Rome. Yeah. Okay. Hi, Caroline. Hi.
Hi, MPP. How are you?
Nice to see you here. Oh, I know. You know what? Because Zealand is leaving our office. She working somewhere else now, and we have just difficult to find your contact information.
Oh yeah, I know, Dennis.
I know, and
Dennis told me about that.
Luckily, Dennis sent the email, and they find you.
Yes, we found each other.
We connected again. That's good. So Dennis, I think this is only the people everyone is almost here, and the Future Radio, they come to my office. They come to my. They don't want to be online. They come to my office. So it's 11 a.m. When it's 11 a.m., then you can start it. Okay, Dennis, you can
sure.
You can open your remark and start it. Yeah.
All right. So good morning.
Wait. Two more minutes.
Okay. A minute or so.
Can we get the permission to record?
Yeah, let me give you the permission. Yeah.
Thank you.
Allow the call. Yeah, okay. And Joseph, I will give you permission to record too.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, one more.
One more member joining us.
Yeah, I think Dennis, you can start it.
All right, so good morning, everyone. I'm Dennis, a member of MPP Vince's team, MC for this event. I'd like to thank you all for virtually joining MPP to welcome David Agnew, President of Seneca College, for an important funding announcement by the Ministry of Colleges and Universities. I'd like to introduce our first speaker, our meeting host, the MPP representing the great people of Don Valley North, Vincent Ka.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you for your introduction. Good morning, everyone. And yeah, I'm so happy to see all my friends again. The President David Agnew and Caroline, and also the Corey, and also Raha. And thank you so much for the media, my good friends. They always come to support me and support us. Thank you. So I want to start by thanking and acknowledging my colleagues, Ross Romano, the Minister of Training, College and Universities. He and his ministry colleagues works incredibly hard to advance the importance of post-secondary education in Ontario. Our government is committed to modernizing Ontario's education system to better meet the needs of students. The first-class education students receive at our post-secondary institution is critical to the future of Ontario, our economy, and the prosperity of our people. Yeah, there's two more people want to join us. Let me just let him in. Okay. Yeah.
Well, I'm not comfortable giving it to everyone. Okay.
Yeah,
okay. I've got to go. Thanks.
So today, I am pleased to join you virtually to announce that the government of Ontario is investing $5,590,800. It's almost $6 million in capital funding through the facilities renewal program and college equipment and renewal fund to help Seneca College address its deferred maintenance backlog, undertake critical repairs and upgrades, and provide a modern and safe learning environment for students, faculty, and staff. Well-maintained facilities and latest learning tool and equipment are critical part of a post-secondary education. Through the college equipment and renewal funding, our government is also providing capital funding to help Seneca College purchase and renew instructional equipment and learning resources. The funding can also be used to purchase equipment to support student virtual learning during COVID-19. By investing in post-secondary infrastructure, our government is supporting economic recovery, creating jobs, and ensuring students obtain the skills they need for the in-demand job of today and tomorrow. One of our government's priority is investing in school infrastructure to build a modern education system that puts the needs of bright young minds first. I am pleased to tell you that our government is listening and taking action to support our students and our renowned higher education institutions. With that said, I want to extend my sincerest congratulations to President Agnew and Seneca College faculty and staff on receiving this important investment, which demonstrate confidence in the college, the students, and the future. I look forward to a brighter day ahead of us all. I know that Seneca College will lead the way as it continues to shine its light on the value of higher learning. Thank you. So I will go back to Dennis.
Thank you, Vincent, for your remarks. Our next speaker is President of Seneca, David Agnew.
Well, thank you very much, Dennis, and of course to MPP, thank you very much, and through you, thank the government for this funding support. You've been a great supporter. You're a great supporter of Seneca, and we've appreciated. We've missed you on campus, but of course, these days we're keeping our campus populations to a minimum. But we look forward to the day that we can welcome you back. So this is a delightful announcement for us because, of course, it's tackling two key issues for us. One is our facilities renewal. Some of our buildings go back all the way to the late 60s and certainly the 70s and 80s. And so part of what this funding will do on the facilities side, it will allow us to reinvest, to modernize those facilities, to frankly make them more energy efficient, more sustainable. It's not the most exciting kind of stuff when you're replacing boilers and lights, but I can tell you it makes a big difference not only to our bills, but also to the environment on campus. So that's terrific. But of course, another very important part of this funding is on the learning side, on the instructional equipment side, and particularly with how we have had to move to right now, mostly virtual, but in the future, certainly more virtual kind of teaching learning environment. This is going to be very important because in fact, we're able with this money to increase and improve our digital infrastructure, as well as some of our teaching labs. So altogether, it's very, very helpful. You know, we've got some on-campus activity happening now in limited numbers, but we're not really being able to take advantage of the entire campus. What this is allowing us to do the kind of the silver lining a little bit of the kind of shutdowns, allowing us to renew our facilities where we have the resources to do so, and this funding will help with that. And so when we are able to kind of reopen the doors fully and it's safe to return to campus in larger numbers, it'll be an even better experience for our students. So again, through you, MPP Ke, thank you very much to the government. This has been very, very helpful. It certainly helps us not only improve our learning environment, but also our sustainability. One of the pleasures we had of welcoming you with the Premier to our Center for Innovation, Technology, and Entrepreneurship in our riding. I'm very pleased to let you know that we've just very recently received the gold level certification from LEED, from the Green Building Council of Canada, and so our commitment to sustainability is advanced by these funds. So thank you so much.
Thank you, David, for your remarks. Now I would like to invite the media to present questions for our speakers. If you wish, you may direct your questions in Mandarin for MPP Ke. I would appreciate it if you can raise or wave your hand so the speakers can recognize and acknowledge you.
Can I ask a question to Seneca David?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. My question is that, you know, the traditional university system compared to right now trying to the digital university system, I believe is different. So since we have a very good example on the e-commerce, so Amazon get most of the e-commerce business. Right now, if that become a new normal, that means digital university may become a new normal. That means Seneca will be competing with universities all over Canada and also around the world. So how you anticipate this change for future? So thank you.
Yeah, so that's a great question. I mean, obviously we have to think about not just the now time, but you know, once we're back into whatever normal looks like post pandemic. And I think you're right. I think that I say the pandemic has kind of fast forwarded us at least 5 or 10 years on a journey that we are on anyway. And so when we come out of this on a more permanent basis, we will be more virtual. We're hearing that from our students. We're hearing that from our employees that they'd like to go down that direction further. They don't want to be 100% virtual in all cases. They don't want to be 100% online. They look forward to the opportunity to come back to campus, to mix with their fellow employees, to do collaborative projects together in the same room. But they're seeing the advantage from a convenience point of view, from a cost point of view, because you don't have to commute every day to campus and so on, of doing more online. Of course, some of our programs you cannot do completely online, even if you wanted to. You know, those are the ones with practical components, you know, the nursing programs, the aviation programs, the engineering programs. You need to spend some time in labs. And in fact, this money announced today is going to be helpful in that regard. We're building a beautiful new lab for our flight services students and one of the projects that's being supported is a safety trainer out of this money. And so it's really about, I think, giving more options to students so they can spend more time, frankly, studying and learning and less time commuting. And of course, for many of our students who are working part-time, this also gives them more flexibility to work. For those who are taking care of family members, more flexibility to take care of their family members. I think you asked about sort of, does this kind of put us into competition or at least into a different kind of market? And I think it does, and I'm very excited about that because I think we're in a great position to attract students who do want to study 100% online from literally all over the world. And we're seeing that now. We have international students who are studying with us who don't necessarily even want to come to Canada. They're not, you know, their ambition is not to come here and to you know, obtain a PR status and citizenship and stay. What they're looking for is an education from a Canadian institution and a credential from a Canadian institution. So we're very excited about, in fact, new opportunities opening up as a result of this.
I think, Yang Jie, you have question? I saw you raise your hand, right?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
So I have two questions. One is to MPP Ke.
Yeah.
You could answer me in Mandarin.
Yeah.
谈一谈这个 capital funding 是一个来自政府的哪一个这个 budget 里边，然后就是说，这个政府对这个专上教育现在的这个支持，简单的讲一下，好吗？谢谢。
今天的这个 funding 呢，就是一个叫做那个renewal program， 就是 facilities renewal program。那它这个是整个我们安省有21个大学，24个那个大专。那么这个就是整个政府每年都是 funding， 但是呢，今年有个特点呢，就是今年的 funding 我们增加 double， 我们比去年就增加了1半。因为最主要就是这个 COVID-19， 那么这样的话，就是我们这些钱呢，就是用来给他们就是更新他们的设备，那就是让他们这个赶上，就是特别是这个边远的那个 college， 就比较就是比较没那么先进的，让他们更新设备比如说包括互联网，包括这个硬件也好，软件也好，就是教学的教学质量，还有教学设备还有这个聘请更好的这个老师，那么就要保证这个学生的质量。那么这个 COVID-19 呢，这些钱呢也可以用来就是在 virtual 在网上的教学，保证呢那个学生在这段时间也不耽误。这个是就是为什么今年这拨款会更多，以前呢是没有这么多。
所以这个 funding 是一个特殊的 funding， 是从一个
也是有这个是2部分，一个是那个 facility renewal program 呢，这个是1986年就开始了，已经每年都有，只不过钱没有那么多。那今年我就说了，原来是7000多万，今年是增加到1.44个亿，是 more than double。然后呢，另外一个 funding 呢就是另外一个是 college equipment renewal fund。就是专门给 college 拨款的，因为 college 呢，大学呢一般都是大城市 ，college 一般边远的城市也有。那边远的城市呢，它整个这个像互联网这个设备各方面呢，那个师资各方面都跟不上。那么专门有2个 fund， 这个 fund 就是给 college。那今年都增加了钱了。那个就是在这个。那个 COVID 期间呢，就让他们有这些钱，让他们去更新他们所需要的东西。那么等这 COVID 过后以后，学生他回到学校了，又 ready， 就能让他们能更接受更多的学生。
好的，谢谢。So my second question is to Mr. Agnew. Yeah. So as the pandemic in Ontario is expecting now long, we think right now. So what's the Seneca College plan for the new year after the winter break?
Yeah, so we're in what we call hybrid format. So most of our programs and courses are online 100%, but we do have students studying on campus for those parts of their programs that they must be in person, they're practical. So whether it's pre-service firefighters learning how to enter a burning building, whether it's pilots learning to fly, whether it's nurses learning how to put in a catheter, those are things that you can only go so far learning online. You actually have to do it under the supervision of a teacher. So we will have in the winter semester about 5,000 students coming on our 4 campuses for part of their programs, but that's out of a total of nearly 28,000. So it's still, most of our students are doing their studies online. We've increased the number of students who can come on campus, but we're being very, very careful. Active screening, wearing PPE, personal protective equipment. None of our spaces are open other than the labs. So the library is not open, the computing commons, the cafeteria. They're just coming on to do what they need to do, and then they're leaving again. And that's keeping as many people as we can safe. All of our staff is working remotely unless they have to be on campus for those courses.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned, just a follow-up. So you mentioned international students. Are there any arrangements for international students coming to Canada? Actually, I know a lot of international students. Actually, they got visa, right? They are expecting to come in the near future.
Yes, yes. We actually have, even when it was very challenging to come to Canada as an international student, we were welcoming international students. And we have several hundred coming to campus and to Canada for the winter semester. So there's a very rigorous process, as we would want, in terms of quarantining and safety protocols. And we're certainly helping the students where they need to be assisted in that. But yes, we will have a significant number of international students, even for those who are in programs that are completely online. Many, of course, still want to come to Canada to be here, to come back on campus when they're able to, and also to start to get the Canadian experience, which you can obviously better here. So yes, we will see more international students coming.
Okay, thank you.
So I think Anime raised her hand. Let's go to Anime and go back to Joseph. Okay, Anime, go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, this actually it's a follow-up of the question regarding the international students. So in terms of those who are stuck overseas with like a 13-hour difference, are there any arrangements for them to attend online courses?
David, I think you muted. You can unmute your own, David.
Yeah, sorry about that. I mean, it sort of depends on the program and the course. Most of the courses are a majority of what we would call asynchronous. In other words, they don't require the student to be in person on screen, but some part of it is on screen, and we appreciate that that's challenging for students. You know, most of the time if they can't make that class, they can pick it up on a recording so they can see it later. We've worked very hard to make sure our students across the world have good access. So we've even put in place VPNs for them to be able to get to all the course material to the classes without problem. But yes, we recognize that it's a challenge of the time difference, and so now that there's a way for students to come to Canada, and the visa offices have reopened and so on. That's why we're expecting more students to be coming to Canada, because obviously it's for those programs that do have what we would call synchronous or online live parts of it. It's obviously much better to be in Canada than to be overseas, particularly with that 13-hour time difference.
Thank you.
Okay, now, yeah, go back to Joseph. Joseph, you can unmute yourself.
Okay, hi. This question back to the David of Seneca too. So this is a short-term question. I know that some universities, they do lose revenues from international students. So that means, I know university is not like an enterprise. They may not run on the profit and loss scheme, but how you compensate, I mean, if there's the fact that, I mean, not many international students enroll for this semesters, and then Seneca is losing revenue, how you make up those loss? Thank you.
Yes, no, we're not a private business, but if we don't have revenues, we can't keep the lights on and pay our employees. So it's very important. In fact, we've been very fortunate that we have not lost enrollment. We've actually done reasonably well during the pandemic. We've had a challenge in attracting new students internationally, but the returning numbers have been very, very strong. And so, no, we're fortunate that in fact we haven't suffered too much. Of course, we've lost revenue from the fact that we've lost all the on-campus activity. You know, you can park for free now at Seneca, but don't count on that forever. But right now, it's quite quiet on the campuses, which means we lose, some ancillary revenues. But no, fortunately, for the most part, our students have stayed with us.
if not other media has questions, I have another questions. So that that's the new normal right now. I heard that students trying to adapt to the new normal digital learning, online learning. On the other hand, I heard about many professors. They have problem adapting to the online learning because they never did it before, and they have all kinds of technical problem. And some professors, they have been teaching in the university for 20, 30, 40 years. So that you are telling them to adapt to a new online learning techniques. They got the sound problem, video problem, breakout problem. So that's the university has a really full plan of a good planning to try to adapt, change. I mean, teach the professor how to teach online. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's a fair question, because in fact you're absolutely right. I mean, even though online learning has been growing and growing and growing. I mean, this, you know, we didn't discover online learning during the pandemic. It was well in place before the pandemic, and growing by double digits every year. I mean, that goes back to sort of the convenience issue for some students. If you can take one of your electives or your general education credits online, that was obviously in some cases very beneficial. But you're right. So some of our teachers, this was a new experience for them. We put a huge investment in our, what we call our teaching and learning group, which is actually teaching and learning for teachers, not for students. And so we ran, you know, fundamentals of online teaching. I mean, hundreds of faculty attending. It's interesting. It's not even related necessarily to age, because we had some older professors who were very savvy in technology and had made the transition very easily. We also paid a lot of attention to the students, because even though, as we all assume, young people are, you know, completely used to the technology, not all of them adapted all that well. And I think that's partly why, when we look down the road, you know, online, 100% online learning is for some people, and it's not for everybody. And so we'll always have in-person classes, because that's going to be the better way of learning for some of our students. What the future holds for us is more choice, and I think that's a good thing.
So, sorry, my last questions. All right. Okay, let me finish. Okay, I heard that. Well, Yang Jie, you go ahead. Sorry, I joined your line. Okay.
Okay, Yang Jie, yeah.
So, Mr. Agnew, I want to know how many international students right now in Seneca College, and how many are Chinese?
Well, isn't it lucky that I have my vice president in charge of international on the line? In the fall semester, we had what, Navzat, around 9,000 international students?
That's correct.
And I would probably, what, 1,400 from China?
That's correct.
Okay, so just follow up, like, oh, I forgot my question. Yeah, Joseph, go ahead.
All right, sorry, that's my last question. Okay, so the question asked about discipline of learning. I heard about some students, they attend online learning, online classes. They are not in the room, they are not in their home, they are not in their study, but they are on a shopping mall. So the student is dating with her boyfriends, drinking bubble tea, wandering in the mall, and then attending the online class at the same time. So what's the opinion about us?
I probably guess that's not very typical. But at the end of the day, it's not about, you know, we don't mark for attendance. We mark for performance and how you did on your assignments and your tests. Okay. So if you want to hang upside down from you know, the ceiling and learn, that's okay with me, as long as you do well on your tests and your assignments. So if bubble tea's, you know, the inspiration for you, then bubble away.
I know. I just, yeah, I agree. That's right. So you count on the performance, not the time you really attend to the virtual. I have some friends that told me his son, he never, when he was in the university, Toronto University, he never saw the professor in the 4th semester, but he can pass the test. So what? You know, it depends how you really want to learn. It's not really, it's your attitude. Okay. Yeah, it's good, David. That's right.
So I have another question. I want to know if there are any tuition fee adjustment since all the teaching styles is different, both for like international student and domestic student.
Yeah, the short answer is no. I mean, the reason is, and it's, I mean, you're asking in the right venue. Some of the money that the provincial government was generous enough to give us is going into increasing our and improving our digital infrastructure, of buying more laptops so we can loan them out to students, improving the VPN so students can have access. Beyond that, we have spent literally millions of dollars improving the digital infrastructure. We were very fortunate to be going into the pandemic with a well-established digital strategy and an absolute cracker Jack IT team that helped build the platform. So it's, I mean, there's a myth that it's cheap to teach online. It's not cheap to teach online. We just arranged for the most sophisticated nursing simulation software in the world for our nursing school. It doesn't come for free. We still, of course, are paying our teachers, so no, it's no cheaper to be you know, if we got rid of our bricks and mortar, but we're not doing that because, you know, in the months to come, we actually will be able to welcome all of our students back, not just the ones who are studying for now in person.
Okay, thank you. That's all.
Thank you.
We are almost time's perfect. Anime, do you have any more questions?
Well, actually, it's sort of like a personal one because my son actually studies at Seneca, and he was in the liberal arts. He's just finished this program, and he said because he has like a special need, like so he finds it really hard for him to sit in front of the laptop like for long hours a day. So he's like, he's planning on skipping the next semester. So, you know, are there special arrangements for these kind of students who have special needs that, you know, that's more accommodating? Because he finds it really, really very hard to focus long time in front of the computer.
Yeah, no, I mean, I hear you. It certainly shouldn't be a problem to wait until there's a more conducive learning environment for them, because that's a liberal arts program should be able to accommodate that for sure. I mean, that's partly why, you know, most of our faculty are recording their lectures or their classes, so students can come back to them and see them and review them at their own pace in sort of chunks that make sense for their learning styles. But I think I think your son's example is very, very important to remember, that this is not the environment for everybody. Some people thrive in the online environment, and some people do not. And it's got, you know, nothing to do even with having, you know, special needs. It's just some people just don't take to that environment well. So that's why, look, we're looking forward to the day when we can get back to offering, you know, both of those modes equally. Right now, of course, we're frustrated. We do have, you know, special software that is attached to our learning management system that will help special needs students. So depending on, I mean, if he's been in touch with our counseling and accessibility group in terms of his any kind of accommodations, he might want to explore that as well with them in terms of if he's thinking about, you know, could I stay, could I, you know, continue on? Because I know students are reluctant to interrupt their studying, you know, once you're on a kind of a roll. It's nice to stay there. And is he planning, so is he planning to go to U of T or to York?
York, yes.
York, yeah. So So he'd be attached to the Seneca York campus.
Right.
Yeah, well, that's a good group. So if there's a way of, maybe he wants to explore that new software. It's called Ally. That we installed just very recently, right, Rada? Yeah.
Okay, I'll let him know. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay, I think time is perfect. Yeah, we just started on time and finish is most on time, the right time. So I would like to thank you, David, again. Thank you for your time, and thank you for all my media friends come to support, always support us. And what I want to say is we hope this pandemic is it will be over soon. Then I can go back to the campus, the beautiful campus, right? and we can go back to normal. Okay, so yeah. So David, any closing remark you want to say?
No, not just to repeat my thanks to you for your support, your constant support of Seneca and the government for its generous support of our facilities renewal and our equipment for instructional purposes, and to thank the media for your questions. And Emily, if you have any issues, just get in touch with me directly. We can see if we can navigate the system. Sometimes it needs a little push.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much. And call 9. So we finally will connect you again, and then Dennis will contact you with anything if we need it. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, and thank you, Dennis. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Have a nice